So the thing of it is, and if you recognize that Richie Brockman Private Eye from the Rockford Files reference, then you're my kind of people. Yeah, I was so excited to upload the video about putting the gate together with the dowel rods and the the dowel jig that I bought, that I forgot that I hadn't already uploaded the video of actually doing the half lap glue up. So here it is. And before I forget, I don't know if it'll happen or when it'll happen, but just in case, I posted a video just before I hit 50 subscribers because it just was such a blessing. And I was so grateful that there were people that had at least a passing interest in what I was doing. And I am possibly on the verge of going over 100 subscribers. Now, when some of the folks that I follow and really enjoy have over 350,000 subscribers, I know that that is not some huge thing, but if I'm able to pass that, then I feel really happy about it. And it's a kind of a milestone, and I hope that I can keep making things and doing things that at least someone will maybe find interesting and hopefully useful and hopefully encouraging and maybe even a blessing. And I sure do hope that there will be some blessing in it for folks along the way. So here is the video of the gate going together. And here's the other thing I'm going to go ahead and say. I probably is a bit of a defense mechanism, I suppose. I tend to kind of make fun, laugh a lot at the work that I do, about the work that I do. I know that I am not great at it, but at the same time, I have been really, really glad to be learning things and getting better. And it's possible this might be one of the very first things that not only turns out, like I really enjoy doing the cornhole boards for my youngest daughter, and they turned out, well enough that they'll be useful. But this gate could be something that is actually really practical and a help, and I think it's going to hold up. So while I'm probably always going to make light of the things that I'm working on or how I'm working on them, because I'm not a master carpenter or a master mechanic or a master maker of any kind at this stage, I want to be sure to say that if I'm making light of my abilities, it should be no reflection on the fact that I am deeply, deeply grateful and blessed for the talents, abilities, interests, and energy and health and whatever level of creativity there might be that God has blessed me with. And I am not making light of any of that. Those are precious, precious things to me, and I'm glad I get to share a little bit, and I'm probably going to make jokes about what I could probably do better, but in no way does that mean that I think that the gifts that I've been given are silly or worthless or somehow so flawed that they have no purpose or value. I know that I am loved by God, and I know that you are too. And I hope that you have a blessed day whenever you're watching this. And if you stick around long enough to watch the whole thing, I'd love to know your thoughts about it too. Thanks very much. Before I do the glue up on the half lap for the gate I'm building for friends out of old headboards, I'm going to have to do a glue down because this piece got broken out while I was cutting them. So it looks like I need a little sanding too because there's a bunch of grime on this. All right, let's do some work. All right, well, I've cleaned this up with an old sanding pad, gotten the worst of the grime and crud off of it. I think the CA glue is going to stick okay to that. You can see that this came right out of there, so hopefully I can get a good fit on that. A lot of point areas for contact. And then I'll have to flip it over and CA glue these on, and then we'll be ready to put the half lap on. Now, this will be exposed on the other side at like that. At first I thought, oh no, it's going to look terrible, but then I remembered that's where the half lap goes. So that's actually going to be covered by the other board here. We'll look at that in a minute. Okay, time for some CA glue. Wow, even that little spot there CA'd up. I'm totally impressed. It's a good thing I didn't record it. I look like a maniac, freaked out trying to get those two pieces together. But there's a start. On to the next. I got a different brand of this stuff when I reordered because I do not like how hard it is to get out of these little bottles. Somebody else will have figured that out long before me, and I wish I had known it. Okay, let's put a little bit here. And some here. All right. Kind of like watching paint dry. And wow. Yeah, it works. It works. Here's how these puzzle pieces go together, I believe. Yes, that goes there. And that goes there. Looks like I have to do that one first. Get it all the way in. And match it up. And this one, that needs to go further down. Let's see how far it'll go. It's the tongue and groove that broke out, so that's the issue. And I suppose I could just take some of the bottom off if it doesn't want to go far enough in. Yeah, that's pretty close. All right, I have to work with it a bit. All right, well, I just snipped a little bit off the end of this piece and got it to where, since it's not a structural issue, it doesn't have to be great, and I can even just get some wood glue on there too afterwards. But all right, going to CA this down now. I have a feeling I'm using way too much of this stuff, but it's down. And if I need to do anything cosmetic after I get the whole piece glued together, then I will. Next, I'm going to clean this up a little bit on both sides. This needs it over here too, and just make sure I've got a good surface for the actual tight bond to wood glue. Let's see how that goes. Check back with you in a bit. I'm going to try to make this not too shaky. Here is the bottom part of what I'm turning into a gate. Here's the top part. This will just flip over onto the half laps on the other side. These are cleaned up, and I did actually took the sander, which sounds to me like my brush motor sander is becoming a brushless motor sander and maybe on its last legs. But I cleaned this up some. I'm not worried too much about this because I really want the glue to kind of get into that stuff. And did some sanding here. Got it basically down to the glue. I might do a bit more with just to scrape a bit more of that off. But I think I'm ready to do the glue up. So let's see how it goes. I've got a stack of clamps here, and I'm going to use this 4x4 post as a crossbar. What do they call those? Culls? I'm going to try to use it as a cull, although it's not bowed like the real culls are supposed to be. But I'm just going to use it for some steady pressure across the side. And then I've got another one I think will be long enough. Yeah, it will be. So I've got another one here, and I'll use it on this side. Okay, this is going to be pretty gangly, and I don't think anybody's going to learn some great insight from the way I do this. So I'm not going to record it. I'll just show after I'm done and see how the glue up goes. All right, the glue's on, and I've let it set for, a few 30 seconds or so. Let's set it in place. And try to make sure we're synced up here. There is a bit of a gap I'm going to have to deal with, but for now, let's start putting the clamps on. And yeah, let's use these to begin with. That seems to be together. All right. So space for the clamps. I think these have got enough throat. Yeah, this one does for sure. Didn't like a washout amount of glue on this because I am gonna screw them together too once it's dried. And I just don't want a bunch of overflow to have to deal with. So this is just to get them together, even if I have to put nuts and bolts through them to get them really solid. Excuse me, that'll be fine. You might be able to see, yeah, there is a gap, and I'm going to fill that in with some scrap wood just for looks. And then I've got to pick out a sealer for this, and I think I'm going to use the Australian stuff, the Australian oil that I have heard, I think Daner made talk about, and 2 or 3 other folks that I follow, and it looks like it'd be a very good thing to use on it. So I'm gonna, and I found some, I saw some at Lowe's the other day. I didn't know if I'd be able to get it here. I'm also going to go around the corners and make sure they're solid if they don't need to be strengthened at all. And then we're going to think about the hinges that I am going to choose. What am I going to use for good hinges? We'll find out here. Well, this wasn't too dramatic as far as something to look at. And neither am I, but that is one project that's been on the planning stages and on the workbench for quite a while here, longer than I had intended. So I'm really glad to at least have the glue up started, and I can see just how solid it's going to be and what I might need to do. If I even need to add some framing, that's all right too. The main idea is this is the right dimension for the gate area that needs to be put in place. So, thanks for watching, and boy, when the time comes that I get to put this up on the patio, I'm going to be very excited to video that and share it with everybody, because I think it'll be a help for these folks, and I'm really glad I get to do it. One of those 4x4 posts is also going to be the gate close bar, where I'm going to get some kind of spike to put a 4x4 post in the ground to make it come even with the patio wall, and that'll be the gate, and that'll be where we'll have a handle too. So we'll see how that goes. Thanks for watching. I really feel blessed and grateful. This is not complicated. I know I'm not. There's nobody's going to be impressed with a rough cut half lap or anything like that, but it's something that I've wanted to do for some friends, and if it works out, it's just going to be really exciting for me to know that I made something that was useful for somebody. So thanks for watching. If you got some ideas, suggestions, anything comes to mind, I'd be glad to know it, and look forward to hearing if you have any comments, and appreciate any likes and subscriptions, and if you share it with somebody, that'd be great too. Thanks a lot.